Hola, everybody. Hola, 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 hola. Hello. We are live again from Cancun. It is 9:38 Eastern Standard Time. Um, I I'm sorry. I told you guys to come with me to Cancun on my Instagram. See what was up. And I haven't posted like next to anything. And I tell you why. There's been nothing to post. Which, probably not what you expect from someone going to Cancun to not post anything at all. If you are watching this live or listening to this on the recording or whatever, wherever, whatever time of year, whatever time of day it is, hi, my name is Akeisha. You're watching the 20th episode of Daily with Akeisha. This year, I decided to commit to myself and showing up for myself to practice commitment. I'm doing that in a few ways in my life and in my business. And part of that is just getting the practice of speaking. And I chose YouTube as that platform, and I've chose a podcast. I'm a huge podcast person. I like to listen to things. So anytime I can get people to put things on a podcast version of something is easier for me. And I'm a Spotify user. So, you'll find my podcast here on Spotify. But then I also know people love to just like throw on the YouTube and catch up with their favorite people and look at and like see each other's faces. So this is why I have the two platforms. I interact mostly with people on Instagram. That's where I hang out most. But I love this platform here on podcast and YouTube because of the way it sits and everything kind of like works for you in the long run if you stick with it. So I love that. Just checking my mic is on. Yeah, okay, good. I made a couple rookie mistakes not turning my second mic on for audio recording. Anyways, yes, I'm committing this way. I'm practicing sharing with you all. It's a different form of conversation. I'm not like squeezed into 5 or 10 seconds. I love that. I wish I had like a second monitor I could like go up between to like show you videos like as I'm speaking about things, but I'm here in Mexico. I'm living my life abroad. I'm figuring it out. I'm trying new things. I'm an Arbonne independent consultant, and that is my main job. I also do fascial stretch therapy and access bars. That's my one-on-one practice with people, and I love how I get to create my life. And part of that was to be able to and is able to travel here and there and still show up and commit and still do my jobs and still work my business and create my life no matter where I am. So here being in Cancun, still showing up. I know it's late. Usually I do these in the morning. Last night, oh my goodness, we didn't get sleep the night before. I don't know if you guys caught my uh, episode 19 where I did a little like energy like meditation because I needed it. So I thought, okay, if I'm going to do this, I may as well put it out there to contribute to anybody who is feeling really stuck and almost like doom and gloom the world. Because if you are awake in any sort of what is happening in the world, it just was getting to be like they're throwing crap. And I know like one astrologer is like, prepare for like a lot of secrets to be coming out, a lot of like things to be crumbling, and just like sit your high perch and see from above. Like, don't put yourself in it. But it was like so much that I was like crawling to like get out of the muck. So I was like, okay, if I can do an energy work, that's what I did. So I did that on yesterday's episode, um, which was like super early. But then, so we didn't get sleep the night before. We got like maybe 4.5 hours of sleep the other night. And then we went to the ruins. We went to Ekbalam. Ekbalam. Yeah, I think that's what it is called. It's the last ruins in Mexico that you can walk, like up the ruins. And it was beautiful. I've never seen ruins before. It was like something on my bucket list where I was like, this would be nice to see one day. And that was yesterday. That was the beginning of that. There's so many ruins. A lot of them you can just like walk the grounds of, but you can't actually walk up the ruins because of just the constant restoration that has to go into it and like the cost of it. So like people just can't walk them up anymore. But these ones are the last ones you can walk up, and they were huge. They're massive, and just getting to know some of the history was just insane. Just understanding how long these have been here, and in this particular site, like some of them haven't even been uncovered. Like these massive mounds that look like hills of rock, but they're not. They're like hidden structures. And then we were driving to dinner tonight, and we full on saw like a set of like ruins just on the side of the road, just like gated off, like you can't enter them. And they're just like right there. And you're like, holy crap, like this whole area is probably like covered in ruins. And that's the thing about Mexico is there's ruins everywhere, right? There's like people in the backyard that have all these hidden ruins, and they're starting to see them through things called like sonar scanning, like they're detecting things in the ground. Now that we can do a lot of like flying above and checking things out. Any hoozle moozle. I kind of just posted that. And the town, so that was in um, Wakan. Why can't I remember the state that Eckenbaum was in? I think it's Wakan. I could totally be saying that wrong. My brain is kind of like tired now. But we were in a different state, and that was really cool. We went into a town that was so great, had so many great shops. The quality of clothing, you could see the difference. The quality and like some of the goods that they were selling were really different, very high quality. Not different things, just like you could tell by like the feel of it, how different it was. And I asked one of our friends, like, the quality seems better here. And he's like, well, because they make the actual fabric here, not just design on top of the fabric, but they make and wear this type of clothing, this like type of linen. And where you get in like Puerto Vallarta, they're using a lot of cotton and things that are coming from like Indian Asia fabrics. But in Yucatan, that's it. In Yucatan, they actually make the linen by hand here. So the quality is just a lot better in this state for this type of clothes. I'm like, okay, makes sense. Anyways, so that like town was really great, but we didn't get to explore it till it was kind of like dark out. So my camera doesn't do very well in the dark. Anyways, needless to say, my thoughts on Cancun are this. Take me back to PV. I'm sorry, I don't like it. I absolutely hate driving here. Like, if anyone complains about traffic, I'm gonna be like, like, go take a drive in, I don't know, like New York City or LA or Cancun, and then compare it. Cause like the roads here don't even make sense. They have no intersections. Roundabouts are these weird, convoluted things that aren't even like fully truly roundabouts, that have no direction, no signage. The GPS is telling you to be in the left hand lane, but no, you actually need to so be in the right hand lane because you can't cross 5 lanes of traffic. And there's all of a sudden this like exit that there was no signage for. Like you didn't even realize it was there until like, oh, that's the street I need to be on. And they've got like these like really long strips of road that you can only go one way for so long before you like can get to like a U-turn place and maybe an intersection. Like I counted very few intersections. Anyways, there's no really like places where you can just kind of like wander around, and kind of like there is in PV where you can just like there's these little neighborhoods you can kind of wander around, and like great little coffee shops and tons of like night taco places. Like I'm sure there is. Like when we first came here, we went to the Parqueta de Palapa, which was really great. It was a nice little night market. There was like food stands and like places to eat, and that was like fun. And then there's like these markets that sell like foods and goods, and they're like outdoor markets, and like I love those. But then everything around it, it's just like nothing. It's got no flavor, no cuteness, no good coffee shops nearby. I've never, like, asked for Starbucks when I've been abroad, like, ever. I haven't been like, "Oh, where's the Starbucks? I need to get a coffee." But here I'm like, "Oh, no, no, no. Where's the Starbucks?" Because we went to 2 cafes, and I swear I was drinking battery acid, and I kid you not, Clayton asked for a coffee at a restaurant that we, like, went back to go use the washrooms, and I shit you not, heated up the last little bit of coffee that they had in the coffee pot and microwaved it in a yogurt container and then poured it into his cup in front of us. And then when we asked for like a little bit of milk, they're like, that's 10 pesos more. And we're like, what? That wasn't 10 pesos more when we bought coffee when we ate at the restaurant earlier. And like, heaven forbid you microwaved my first cup of coffee. Like, oh my goodness. And then we went to a restaurant today that didn't even exist anymore. And then we went to another restaurant called Flamingos. I'm sorry, I'm going to give you a bad review. The food was very lovely displayed, but it tasted so bad, and our fries were cold, and I'm sorry if you can hear the dinging. My Facebook Messenger is, like, going off. And I've never put anything so salty in my life, where in order to, like, get the salt taste out of my mouth, I just, like, full on sucked on a couple limes to, like, just refresh the palate because it just was not good and it was so expensive. Um, and yeah, like, I'm being a downer on Cancun, I so am, but I had such different expectations. I don't even know what I expected, I just did not expect this. So, I'm very excited for tomorrow. We're going to some cenotes, which are, like, underground cave or kind of, like, open-faced, or ones that have a bit more sun, and they're freshwater sources, and they're beautiful. There are tons, like, everywhere here, and so you just have to drive out to them. Some are, like, you know, 45 minutes away, some are 2 hours away, some are further than that. We're gonna go to ones that are about an hour and a half away, and we're gonna go to 2 tomorrow, and then, one's more of a, um oh, I can't remember what we're doing. We're either going to one that's kind of, like, covered and then one that's, like, a cenote and a beach at the same time, and they've got, like, a little restaurant there, and we're just gonna spend, like, pretty much the whole day. We wanted to do more of a cavey one and then a more open one, but the cavey ones are more inland, and they're a little bit further away in comparison to the one that we want to end up spending that has, like, a bit more sun because they're cold, um, and so we want somewhere where we can kinda, like, heat up in the sun and then refresh in the water and kinda, like, lounge around, so I'm excited. I'll probably post way more about that and take some videos and, like, make a video of my trip, and then we're gonna head down to Playa de Carmen uh, Playa de Carmen on Monday to see Clayton's friends, and then just, like, hang out at the beach if we can, and that's another thing, like, you can't see the ocean unless you somehow figure out where the free access point is to the beach and go to the beach. And I know the beach is beautiful, but when you can't see it, it's really like discouraging when you come from the West Coast where you can go you can see the beach. Like driving along the freeway on the West Coast, you can see the water. And, you know, I'm from Vancouver, like, seeing the waters is such a part of me, and then, like, living in Puerto Vallarta now, like, the water's right there, and there's so many different beach accesses, and yes, there's hotels, but you can easily find a place to get onto the beach, and here it's just, like, hotels, like, you cannot see the water, um, and that hotel strip, like, oh my god, I just wanna shoot myself. So, yeah, review of Cancun, not the hottest. I wouldn't come here unless I was, like, specifically seeking out some cenotes and more ruins. Our Airbnb absolutely sucks, like, it's clean and it's spacious and it's got a decent bed and a lovely table and a TV that works, but it comes with nothing. Like, no, not even salt and pepper. Like, there's stuff to cook with, but then nothing to, like, keep your food like, sometimes I love when Airbnbs come with, like, a few containers at least or salt and pepper and some oils to, like, cook with and, like, season. 0, zilch. Not even beach towels. Like, no, which is surprising. You're in a place where people vacation for the beach. Like, every Airbnb that I've gone to has beach towels. You're in a tropical place. You just assume your guests. So, like, I would have brought a beach towel if I knew. So, we bought towels to take out of the house because there's literally one towel per person. And like, we had to ask for extra garbage bags because you don't flush your toilet paper down the toilet. So, like, you're going to take out your garbage more than once in a week. And like, our garbage, even though we only have like fruit and stuff in the house, like, it's filling up. So we needed more garbage bags. So she like gave us more of those. But yeah, I think Airbnb hosts also, like, the consumer really needs to hold them accountable to like, and make a review that's like, this is great, but you're not going to get XYZ, because all the reviews except one review was like, great, the super host was so nice, yada, 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 yada. And this one review was like bad. And so when you're thinking one review, you got to be like, okay, like, with a grain of salt, based on all these other amazing reviews, I feel like we're getting good bang for our buck. No, we're literally paying for like a motel room kind of service and amenities. And yeah, as like a potential Airbnb host myself, like, I want someone to be, I get it. You want people to pay for it, but I also want someone to pick my place over somebody else's. And if in that same kind of like price range, I can give something a little bit extra, like 2 towels, one for the beach, one for here, you can do it. It's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. Anyways, that's just my thoughts on my Airbnb. It was kind of like we could have spent just an extra $20 and gotten something way more, but we were trying to be conservative on this trip. We definitely got the conservative end of the stick, which was, you live and you learn. But we can't even like pack a sandwich unless we wanted to like bring all of our, like, if we wanted to like buy new Ziplocs, because like I said, nothing in the kitchen. But yeah, so that's enough of my complaining today. I really hope tomorrow is a great day. I think it is going to be. Cenotes, they just look so cool and they're so amazing. And we're with 2 really great people, our friends and his brother. So we're going to have a great time no matter what. Business wise, like, keeping my head down, focusing on my shit, and knowing that everything works in like 67 to 90-day cycles, meaning you're always practicing a skill, you're always developing your craft. And it also takes people sometimes 21 times to hear something or see something to be like, okay, cool, yes, or tell me more. And when you're branching out like I am in trying to get in to grow your audience, you just have to be patient with keep doing your work and putting yourself out there. So I haven't done everything I've said I was going to do in 1 month, but I am doing more than what I was doing, 2 months prior. So like, really building the consistency, getting comfortable with posting, really working on detaching the emotion from everything, and taking on trainings that are really aligned with the direction I'm wanting to go to and the type of person that I am and the type of business I want to run. So really just like proud of my team. We did some really great group trainings recently, super awesome. And just there's this like ignition of like life into the team, which is amazing. And I'm just excited to keep my head down, work on, developing my next, month, setting my goals, setting an action plan, and setting up some new things to implement in February, and kind of keep along with what I'm doing. And, just keep your head down. Like, I looked at Clayton today and I was like, I'm getting frustrated, but I have to take a second and just be grateful for where I am and what I'm doing, and know that, just keep putting one foot in front of the other. And when I'm actually ready to do the things, it will come. I know that, like, we're always going to hear the thing we need to hear when we're ready to hear it. And so just like keep putting one foot instead of the other, because eventually I'm going to start running. So I'll leave you on that note. Hope you have a fantastic day or evening anywhere you are in the world, whenever you are listening or watching to this. I will see y'all tomorrow and tell you all about the cenotes. Okay, cheers. Bye.